Hello, and welcome back to the Point and Laugh podcast with your hosts,
Skyler
and Kaylynne. Sorry.
No, it's too late.
Okay.
This is the last time you get to hold my hand, bitch. You had your chance, you blew it.
I'm a bit sweaty. It's a bit.
That's just what being in my presence feels like.
It's a bit warm this February evening. We're doing something a little different. So my toes are coming out.
Oh.
So
You really could have just done that wordlessly, but no, you had to make an introduction, so my eyes had to flicker towards your feet while you were taking your socks off. This feels like a striptease that I did not ask for.
Because it's hot in here. So if I take my socks off, then I'll be a little more cold. But anyway, it's our final episode.
Damn.
So we're doing something a little special. We're celebrating. We have glasses of Kim Crawford, the finest of beverages.
We finally got a sponsorship.
Prosecco. So.
You were finally talking, and
Kim,
we
it's
finally.
Not too late.
It is.
The episode hasn't gone up yet. We can email her and make something happen.
That's so true.
Let us know. But we have a little bit of Prosecco and some sparkling wine, if you will, because
I'm downing that shit.
we're not buying champagne. And we have plans to go out after this. We're doing a little Vanderpump crawl. We're very, very excited. If anyone has seen Vanderpump Rules, me and my roommate Taylor, shout out Taylor, we have been watching it religiously over the past year. And we started at season 1. Actually, we were probably into like season 2. So we started it. And then like by season 2, if you know, you know, Scandival happened. And
worse than Watergate.
And we, this was at a point in the seasons where this is going to mean nothing to you if you don't watch Vanderpump Rules.
So me.
But we were at a point in the season where like Ariana and Tom were even together. Like Tom,
what?
Yeah, Tom was with Kristen. This was
whore.
pre-Ariana. So literally all of this news of Scandival was happening. And I was like, what the fuck? Like Ariana and Tom? What do you mean Ariana and Tom? But anyway, this has been a year in the making. We are doing a bar crawl of sorts. We're starting at Sir. Then we're going to Tom Tom. Then we're going to Schwartz and Sandy's. And then we're going to end the night at Jax's, which if you don't know, those are all just bars owned by members of
One Direction.
Reality. Ari, are you going to be there? There's various bars / restaurants owned by members of the reality TV show. We're going to have a hot girl night. It's going to be a fun time. So we're pre-gaming by sobbing, probably. But for our final episode, we thought it might be a little fun to do something different. We don't have a script. This is all off the cuff, so
If it's bad, you'll know why.
yeah, sorry.
This is what men do with their podcasts. I'm tired of it. They'll go in with like, all right, maybe we'll talk about like, what's your favorite type of sandwich? And then that'll be our starting bit. And then from then on, the creative energy and improv will just flow.
We are having a couple drinks. Perhaps getting a little tipsy. And we are going to play a fun little game of We're Not Really Strangers. We've already pre-selected the juiciest of cards. And then I have some other questions too that I found on the internet. Because some of the cards just weren't giving. So we had to improvise a little bit. And by improvise, I mean plan ahead.
Kaylynn's version of improvising. Yes, and give me a spreadsheet.
You are speaking to a varsity improver. Excuse you.
Oh yeah. Well, you're talking to the founder of Oregon Trails Improv Group. The founder. I went to my middle school, doxing myself. I went to middle school and founded the improv club. I was the reason it was a club in the first place. I was a founding father of improv.
Damn, in middle school too? I don't even know if I knew what improv was in middle school.
My teacher at the time kept referencing the show and I did not know what the fuck she was talking about. And no one did, so no one went out and watched the show that she was stealing all these games and references from and telling us to be more like these people. We're like, oh, we've never watched this ancient show, Grandma. And then I really got into the reruns of the show in college, and it was Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
She kept talking about Whose Line and be like, Colin Mockery would do this. And I'm like, I'm 12. Who the fuck is Colin Mockery and Wayne Brady? And what do you mean this game is called Party Quirks? What do you mean this game is called Freeze? No, a lot of it was just, I remember I made the crowd laugh, and it was so addicting that I barely let any of my other improv troupe have a turn. I just kept going on stage, and I kept killing it. At one point, the joke was I was like attacking someone, so I started attacking them, and no one was laughing, and so I just yelled out, "Die, Justin Bieber!" And then I immediately, the freeze happened right afterwards, so that's the last note that anything hurt. And Justin Bieber hate was just the quickest way to clout in like the early 2000s. Yeah. Room killed, dad laughs. I looked up front row where like the Justin Bieber like fangirls were, and they went like they but I was like, I have fame from the beginning and a controversy. Improv is the best. That chasing that high is what I imagine like the comedy club and like the 1970s used so much cocaine. They were trying to chase that high of every like the comedy club and like every 90s documentary. I'm like, and this person was on crack, and this person was, and Robin Williams was doing like a button load of fucking.
This is why so many men get into comedy.
I meant to say boatload. I said button load, which makes it sound like a much smaller amount of cocaine.
He was doing a very reasonable amount of cocaine, actually. Shall we get into it?
Yes. Let's do it.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little nervous.
I am too. Womp, 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 womp. This is cheating.
Oh, okay.
What is my comfort TV show, and how many times do you think I've watched it?
Heartstoppers. What? Is that wrong?
It's not Heartstoppers.
Heartstopper. Oh my god. Sorry. I too am a victim. Heartstopper, not plural. Only one heart is stopping, and it's yours.
It's such a common misconception, and I don't understand why people are so.
And the thing is, I thought about it before I said it too, because I was like, is it Heartstopper or Heartstoppers? I was like, no, stoppers.
It's because it's British. You just assume that it's something stupid like a plural.
Like a plural. Plural's notoriously the stupidest thing in grammar.
Notoriously British. Made sense to me at the time.
Heartstopper. And if I had to guess, I'm going to guess an even dozen. 18. Higher? 25.
25.
Queen.
Therapy's so expensive. Do you understand? The lack of queer joy in my life is so strong. the ease in which I need to. This is probably gonna touch up later in the game, but random thing is like I didn't realize how oddly touch-starved I've become since moving out here, because like I just don't have like a physical touch type of relationship with any of my friends. Not that like my friend groups are lacking in any way or that I wish we would like hug and hold hands more, but like I didn't even realize, because I was like being my most authentic like, you know, relationship with my friends, that I didn't even realize that that's not something that we do. So I went home and one of my cousins like was just like, we would like, you know, like cuddle on a couch, and I was like, wow. I was like, this is a weird. Oh no. I just haven't like had like any sort of like physical touch from like a loved one aside from like a hug occasionally, and I'm like, that's the only reason I mention this is because the more I realize the feelings of like comfort that I'm lacking, I'm like, and why is Heartstopper already on, and why is it already attuned into an episode? The second I feel I'm like, oh, I kind of feel kind of lonely. Hey, what Netflix? Who put that there?
You're like, hey besties. Oh my god, Netflix locked me out of
it finally happened.
Yes, but the weird thing is it locked me out on my iPad, but I have not been locked out on the TV, which is interesting because technically, here's the thing, my TV has been connected to my like parents' Wi-Fi, because of course that's the Netflix account that I'm using, that I'm mooching off of, but it has been connected to my parents' Wi-Fi because I got the TV when I was living with them. And but my iPad has most recently been connected to their Wi-Fi literally like a few months ago. Like when I went back for Christmas, I like brought my iPad with me and it was connected to the Wi-Fi, and like that's how they can tell that you're a part of like the home network or whatever. Yeah, but it kicked me out, and it hasn't kicked me out on the TV. But I do think, and I was talking to Taylor about this, I'm like, I really think that I might just like ship my iPad and my Apple TV, because it's not actually the TV, we have an Apple TV that's connected to. And I'm like, and that's relatively small. And I'm like, if I just ship that back to my parents and have them connect it to the Wi-Fi momentarily and then ship it back, that will be cheaper than like a year's supply of like a Netflix subscription.
Oh my God.
So I might just do that. We will be without TV for like 2 weeks, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And also you can
You're
just
like, would you be
airplay.
okay with unplugging for? Would you be okay with a social media detox with me, roommate?
We're doing a household dopamine detox.
You're like, welcome home, Taylor. This has been decided.
Welcome to Jigsaw.
Welcome to Jackass. Oh my god. Do we both answer these?
Sure, why not?
Okay. I remember I put this in my deck because I'm like, she will know the answer. Not how many times I've watched Heartstopper, but I'm like, what is your comfort TV show? Because I'm like, is it like 90 Day Fiance? This. Like, I would assume your comfort TV show is, but like, I don't think she has a reality show that she keeps rewatching because the appeal of reality is the one-time shock of it all. Yeah. Like, do you have a comfort TV show? Because I don't think I know this, and that's why I put this in here.
I'm trying to think. Yes. Okay. I do. 30 Rock.
Really?
30 Rock, or actually recently I've been rewatching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Listen. I'm a white woman who loves comedy. I love Tina Fey.
We have no choice but to stand.
Yeah, like it's just the way it is. I know she has some controversies, and there's definitely some of the like racial elements of like 30 Rock like aren't great. They're not great.
Or like other Tina Fey affiliated projects that she was either like a writer or a producer or like a creative director on. You're just like, oh, so that's why there was like some weird twinge of racism in there.
So there are issues there. There are definitely issues there, and I do want to acknowledge that, but I unfortunately love sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And
it's a curse.
Yeah.
Yes, and
yeah. So it's like 30 Rock is probably my main one. I've rewatched that like probably like 8 times, but I mean there's a lot of episodes. And then actually when I was in high school, it used to be American Dad. I know.
Oh.
When I was in high school, I think I watched like all, at that time it was like maybe like 12 seasons. It's whatever was on like Netflix or Hulu. But I had seen all 12 seasons at least 8 times over the course of like 2 or 3 years, because I would just it's so interesting because I talked to my roommate Taylor about this a lot as well, just because we're both in TV and kind of had like a similar background, but growing up, especially in high school, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but like I just consumed so much fucking content.
Yeah.
And so many people would be like, how do you watch all of this? Like, how do you watch so much TV? And I'm like, I literally have it on whenever I'm doing anything. Like, I would put my phone in a Ziploc bag and put it in the shower so that I could continue watching American Dad in my fucking
But I
shower.
also, were you on Tumblr too at the time in high school?
Yes.
There was like that weird culture of like binging TV like it was an Olympic sport and something for you to be proud of. Like, I remember there was like a one kind of out of touch joke in like a random sitcom where like the dad was talking to his teenage daughter and he's like, how can you watch all, you know, whatever hours of it? They like picked like a number that would seem outrageous. Like, how can you watch all 990 hours in 2 weeks? And then she's like, because it's my life, Dad. And then someone was like, I did the fucking math. If you do this, that's only like 2 hours of TV a night. That's fucking rookie numbers. And then someone would be like, I literally like, I feel like binging TV shows when we were younger, or like how fast you could like absorb something was like a source of pride. You're like, actually, sweaty, I've seen all seasons of Supernatural 5 times. Get on my binging level. I feel like that was when binging TV was like a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
To be celebrated.
Yeah, because that was kind of like the introduction into streaming, or at least like on a widespread level, where I feel like before, you know, you just have cable, like you can't really binge something on cable unless you have it all like TVR'd or whatever. But yeah, I mean I just had it on literally when I was doing anything. If I was doing
American
homework.
Dad?
I don't know. I think it's because my brothers watched it. So I saw them watch it. So I was kind of familiar with the content. And then it was one of those things where like, I mean, employers, I definitely don't do this, but hypothetically, if I watched TV while I was working, this is why I watch a lot of reality TV, and I watch things that I've seen before if I'm working or if I'm researching for the podcast, or if I was like doing homework or something like that, because you don't have to pay that close of attention, because you already kind of know what's happening. So I feel like American Dad, I just thought it was funny. 2, it was something that I knew I could put on and like my brothers wouldn't immediately grab the remote and change it. So maybe it was a defense mechanism of sorts now that I'm thinking about it. But I really binged American Dad. I have not really watched it since high school. So yeah, recently, or not recently, but like I guess currently, 30 Rock is probably a comfort show for me. Kimmy Schmidt, kind of. I've only really rewatched it like 3 or 4 times. Criminal Minds, definitely.
Classic.
Definitely. Yeah.
Noted for future.
My turn. Oh,
You picked these.
I know I did. I thought it would be kind of fun. Well, let's just do it, whatever. So this is press shuffle on your, I can't do this because we're using my phone. So never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. It was press shuffle on your music library. Explain the first song that comes up.
Oh,
and I thought that would be kind of fun to like play it into the microphone, but I realized I can't do it. But if you want to do yours, you can.
So it is She Calls Me Back by Noah.
Listen.
I don't understand. Okay. Noah, is it Noah Khan?
Yeah.
Is it Noah Kahan?
No, it's Noah Khan. I
Okay.
remember because I used to say Noah Kahan, and then I saw, I think it was like a TikTok interview or something, and he was like, no.
Okay.
It's Noah Khan.
Noah Khan. I love his music so much. He's climbing up way fast. He's like already has more monthly listeners on Spotify than Hosier, which I think is kind of unfair.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
He
damn
only
it.
has like 1 album out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, very talented. Very talented. And, sorry.
If you're going to say attractive.
No, I wasn't going to say it. I
already came out so punching. You weren't going to say attractive.
Noah Khan, if you're listening, you're
Would.
a handsome man. Not my type. No, I feel like he has a very charismatic, like goofy personality, which
yeah.
I'm obsessed with.
Yeah. True. I was like, I love Noah Khan. I also think he's goofy. I just wish that sometimes, like, King, if we're going to have long hair, you have to wash it.
Ooh, yeah.
It just always seems so pressed firmly against his scalp. And then it just kind of like
Dry
dryly
shampoo
dangles
exists.
off his shoulders, like guys who just had long hair. And not like, you know, like Rhett and Link, like the ones who like you can maintain long hair if
Yeah.
you're like used to having it, and you can know like your curl pattern and not to make it look like a frizzy, greasy mess. And sometimes if you have new long hair, you haven't learned those skills yet. Noah Khan has new long hair.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he has to wash his hair every fucking day because he's a man.
It is very interesting because I feel like as women who are like obviously conditioned to live a certain way and like have certain habits, I feel like we take not that we take that for granted, but it is kind of funny to then see men try and do things with their hair and then they're like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you have to do that? Like, why do you, like, I have to wash it every other day? Like,
And I don't know why I just like I threw that out there that if you are a man, you have to wash your hair every day. That made it sound like there's something inherently wrong with a man's scalp that he has to wash his hair every day.
I mean, no, I'm kidding.
But like I don't know, in my like there are obviously like Jonathan Van
You have to
Ness.
use
You
products.
don't- exactly.
You have to use products. You should have at minimum, obviously shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
Perhaps a deep conditioner.
A mousse, a gel of some kind, a
dry
brush.
shampoo. Like I feel like at minimum you need shampoo, conditioner, leave-in conditioner, and that's like
in like a pomade or something, because otherwise you're just gonna something.
yeah.
Especially only, I wouldn't say only, because some hair doesn't need that. You're right. What?
I have been blessed with insanely. I feel like I don't want to sound. I know it's not.
You've been blessed with insanely what?
Like manageable hair.
Oh, yeah.
I just my hair is like stick straight. Like it is literally stick straight.
Yeah.
It does not hold a curl.
This is fresh from the shower. This
Yeah.
is what my hair is supposed to look like, because I didn't have time to like curl it or leave it in rollers or something. I'm also in the stick straight club.
But I feel like that's all we have to do is just
Yeah.
like put in a leave-in conditioner and brush it out, and then you let it air dry, and like it's fine usually. But if you have any sort of wave or curl or anything, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So can we talk about
Remember how you said I don't think we have enough question cards? I feel like we've been talking for 1,000 years
I-
already.
I am like obsessed with watching the like toupee transformation videos on TikTok. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where they just like snap into place. And it like rocks their shit a little bit. 'Cause
No, but I love it. Frankly, I love it because I feel like too often men are too ashamed to like do anything about their insecurities.
Yeah.
So then instead of actually like working, and listen, we are all, I think, victim of, here's the thing. As unfortunate as it is, and we already had a whole episode about this, as unfortunate as it is, pretty privilege is like a real fucking thing. And like people do treat you better if you have a generally like nicer appearance. So I feel like as men, so many men are just like so ashamed of balding, or they're so ashamed of like their skin or whatever. So they do everything they can to hide it instead of just like actually taking the steps to like not fix it, but like get a fucking toupee. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like so many men are like, I would never get a toupee. So instead I'm going to wear this baseball hat that definitely hides the fact that I'm not balding.
Yeah.
We know. If you are wearing a hat in every single photo on your dating profile, you're bald. Like,
that comb over is not doing the magic work that you think that it is doing. Or the men just like let their patchiness exist where it is because they're like, it's still hair, ain't it? And you're like, Dad, no.
No. I was, not to bring it back to a place of reality TV, but 90 Day Fiance, there is a man, his name is Gino. He sucks.
I feel like you could do it with every single...
Literally every
man,
single...
he's named Guam. He sucks.
No, Gino sucks, but his thing is he's very, very bald and very, like he hasn't accepted it. And the worst part is he's not like a baseball hat bald person. He's a fedora bald, which is way worse. And we found out in the latest episode of the newest season of 90 Day that he has just a patch of hair on the back of his head that he maintains so that when he wears a hat, it looks like he has some hair. But then it was their wedding. It was like one of the last episodes of 90 Day. I think there was like literally like one episode left. And so him and his fiance like got married. They had their wedding. And she was like, Gino, please, like just for one photo, will you please take your hat off? Like I love you how you are. Like I just want one photo without your like stupid fucking gray fedora. And she said it much nicer than that. But so then he's like, okay. And he takes it off and he's completely bald and then a patch on the back. And I was like, at that point, shave it or get a toupee. Get a toupee. And I will say the lovely thing, not to...
That was like a cartoon character bit. Or like it's like when a cartoon character removes their glasses and they have no eyes. It's like that's such like a fucking SNL bit. I honestly kind of, before I remembered it was a fedora, I thought you were talking about a baseball cap. So I'm just imagining that like little half circle where it peeks out and he just has like a half circle in the back of his head.
No, but it's literally like anyone who doesn't watch 90 Day Fiance, it's like you literally watch these people, and me and Taylor every single episode we're like, these are not real people, and we absolutely understand that they're edited, of course, like these are not actual, you know, like
reality people.
Yeah, how they're represented on TV is like not an accurate or authentic representation of who they are as people, of course. But however, some of the things that they say and the things that they do, Gino especially, I'm like, you are a character. Taylor always says, oh my god, who's that one guy on Netflix who does sketch comedy, who he has the one show, he does the drive-through thing where he's like the order. Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Tim Robinson.
Yes. He is a Tim Robinson character. Gino is like, he just seems fake.
55 hot dogs, 75 hamburgers.
Like, he's not a real person. Like, you're like, there's no way that this person could actually like exist. Shall we move on to the next question?
Indeed. How do I show you that I'm in a bad mood without telling you? Or am I just like an excellent hide emotions behind face person?
I'm trying to think of
shatter it. It'd be really funny.
I'm trying to think if have I seen you in a bad mood?
Thursday, as we were walking back to our cars from the movie.
I feel like you just kind of shut down. Like you just don't talk that much. I don't know. Now I'm questioning. Maybe you are just like, you're just a fabulous actress.
Because like I know I'm not, because I know that like what Hannah knows exactly. Like she'll walk in, I'll be on the couch, and like my glasses will be on, and she'll be like 10 feet away from me, and I'll be like, hey, how was work? She's like, you've been weeping. And I'm like, yes, but there's no way you could have seen that from here. So like, or I'll say something, she's like, yeah, you want to talk about it? Like I'm like, I thought you didn't even see my whole face. So like I know I have giveaways because I'm terrible at concealing my facial expressions. Usually, at least I like to think. I'm being very obvious all the time, but I know that there's signifiers. I just couldn't tell you what those signifiers are.
I feel like you're, maybe this is me projecting, because I know this is what I do when I'm not in a good mood. And if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like maybe you do this too. I feel like you shut down a little bit and you just don't talk as much. Like you don't contribute to the conversation as much. But then also you're just a little like short with your responses. You know, like you're like someone will ask you a question and you'll just be like, fine. But it's like usually you will go and like elaborate and all that. Like I feel like that's what it is.
No, I'm gonna say that for you, I don't think I've seen you in a bad mood, but what I have seen you is done.
Yeah.
And that's usually because our hangouts last for 1,000 years. And so once it about hits the end of your social battery, you just kind of do this thing where you kind of stare straight ahead. And then you'll just like, welp. And then you'll get up and like silently start doing something.
I'll start cleaning.
You're doing the dishes, or you'll just start running like things up and down the stairs. Or like you're like just start like, actually I think this needs wiping down. I think this might need vacuuming. So if I'm just like, and then like you just like are staring at the wall a little bit, and then you're like, and you take like a long sigh, and then you don't say anything, and then you just silently start wiping things down. And I'm like, I think we should maybe wrap up. You're like, I'm tired. And I'm like,
you're describing this, and I'm like, I'm turning into my father. Kevin.
No, I want to say, I know, I was like, I don't know where I'm getting my bad mood things from, because both of those things are not how I could tell that my parents were in a bad mood. My mom will let you know if she's in a bad mood.
It's the sigh. The sigh for me is like, my dad would do that all the time growing up, and I would get so irritated because I would be like, why are you sighing? Like, what? Like, tell us what's wrong, or like, shut up. Like my dad, all the time, he'll just be like, and then we're like, what is happening? And sometimes I'll ask him, I'll be like, are you okay? Like, what's happening? And he's like, oh no, like it's fine. And I'm like, then why are you sighing?
I know when my dad gets upset, it's unfortunately like a very like aggressive way, which I'm like, damn it, testosterone. But my dad is usually like a very, very chill guy. Like he's a very intelligent guy. He chooses his words very carefully. He'll never, if he has a firm opinion on something, he'll, tell it to you with like MLA format. He'll tell you if he could do it in PowerPoint, he would. So I get that from him. But I can tell when he gets upset, because sometimes like growing up, he would want me to be able to communicate like my beliefs without being upset, because he noticed that like when I was younger, I would try to explain my feelings or like what I believed like about society, about religion, about people, and I would just be so out of practice with it that I would get like hyper emotional and not be able to finish. And so he's like, I want you to be able to have the understanding of your own emotions and in the things that you feel, and be well studious enough to back them up in some sort of argument without feeling like a direct attack or like you're shutting down or whatever. So growing up, he and I would have like hours long discussions about, he would call them like our talks, and it was really cute because I would feel so smart whenever I would talk to him about like what I thought about like politics, or what I thought about like the state of the world or society, or whatever, or it could be anything. Or we talk about space and the endlessness of space, and we could talk about everything and anything for hours, which is why I figured that this podcast was going to be a fine idea, because I had childhood training about talking for a long bit of time and completing sentences. But what he would do is he would take the opposition every time. He wouldn't always agree with me. He would always make me like he tried to make me ready for a conflict without feeling like I was going to die. So especially politically, it pissed me off when I was younger, but now I appreciate it, that I'd be like, how can you disagree with that? He's like, you need to let me know, because you're going to grow up, and if these topics are important to you, like abortion and gay marriage, whatever, you need to be able to communicate that with someone who disagrees with you without immediately being like flustered, and like, because they'll paint you out to be the person who cares too much, and they're never going to listen to you. This is how men listen to women, is if they're calm and collected and they know exactly what they're going to say and they can lock in. And so I'm used to that. But when my dad gets upset, that veil slips a little bit, and I'm noticing it's happening more and more and that he's getting older, but haha, that's fine, is he'll be talking and then he'll be like, so what you're going to say, like he like suddenly talks like very animatedly, very angrily, and then he goes, and he talks very quickly. My dad is not a fast, he's not a slow talker, but he's not like a fast talker, but he'll talk like my speed very suddenly. Like if we're talking about something that he cares about and he is frustrated that the person isn't listening, he'll burst out and he'll be like, can you say that doesn't make any sense, because and he'll be like, yeah, enough that people in the room go, oh, and then he sees that people flinch and then he reels it in because he feels bad. Yeah, he's like, oh, that's right, I'm a man. I'm a man, I just raised my voice in a social setting. Oh,
scary.
But yeah, I don't do either of those things.
Yeah. What do you do? How do you feel like you signal in like a bad way?
How do I show
Here, I'm gonna go refill my Coke, but you explain. Would you like a refill?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll be back.
How do I show I'm in a bad mood? That's the thing. I don't feel like I'm in a bad mood that often, but I try to separate myself from people. Like if I'm in a bad mood, like it depends on what bad means. Like if I'm in a mood where I'm like fucking angry, I'm like angry and irritated. If I'm angry and irritated, I like excuse myself from the room. I guess I do the same thing when I'm sad, because I'm like, if I'm sad, no one is going to see me cry. No one. That's embarrassing. And then everyone's going to be like, no, what's wrong? And I'm like, sometimes I just want to be sad. I don't immediately need my friends to be like, no, you can't cry because you feel like you'll die alone. That's so unrealistic. And like, I'm like, sometimes I just need to feel it. So and that also gives off the impression that like I'm crying on prom night, like, which is a very lonely feeling. But yeah, and also if I'm pissed off, I'll leave. So if you're like, where'd Skyler go? Skyler is in the bathroom seething, and then Michael in the bathroom by himself seething, like, and then I'll either drive off or I'll like get my ride, like, or if I'm pissed off, I'll like go to my room and sleep. Like I love people except when I'm in a bad mood. I want to leave. I'm like, oh God, guys, I can't spend the night anymore. My mom's family emergency. Can't do it. Mom's crazy. Grounded. Now I'm going home immediately. No, it's not because you said something really stupid and racist. Actually, you know how mom is. I need to get the fuck out of here.
I feel like I'm not necessarily, like, I don't get mad very often. I think it takes a lot for me to get mad, but I get irritated quite often, I think. And I was actually, it's interesting because I was watching a TikTok, and it was basically, I wonder if I liked it. Not that I can access my phone. That's fine.
iPad baby syndrome.
But I was watching a TikTok, and it was like, if you're someone who gets irritated with people very easily, you are likely an introvert with like high social awareness who is dealing with an extrovert with low social awareness.
Yep.
And I feel that all the fucking time. I don't know why. I just get like irritated with people sometimes, and I feel bad because it's like, it's not that you're necessarily doing anything wrong, but I especially get so frustrated with people who can't read a fucking room. And so I feel like that's what happens when I'm irritated. I just kind of shut down and I give really short answers. I'm just like, okay. And I especially, I have a really bad problem with I really hate being interrupted. It's something that like really, really bothers me. And if I am like in the middle of saying something or like telling a story or something and someone interrupts me, I'll literally just stop talking, and I will not like finish the story. I won't do anything. I will make literally zero effort to contribute to the conversation further until someone asks me like a direct question about it. And even when they do, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it was just about this. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I definitely get irritated very easily.
I'm thinking of every time I've interrupted you on this podcast.
Oh, no, I feel like that's different. I feel like it's like when I'm in, if I have like a script, like,
yeah,
I feel like that's a little different. And like, that's definitely something I feel like I need to get better at, is just understanding that often a part of conversation is like interrupting and then circling back. But I just get very frustrated sometimes. I get very frustrated with people who can't read a room.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I know is a skill that not necessarily everyone has. And it's not like you know, necessary, like, it doesn't make you a bad person if you can't, like, read the energy of a room. But I feel like so often people feel the need to, like, overcompensate when they feel like the energy in a room is dying, or they feel like people are, like, getting annoyed, or they're getting or, like, you know, like, certain things. So then they're like, oh, no, like, all these people are getting annoyed, so I'll talk more, and I will do more.
Oh, God. Oh, no. The court jester tendencies of it all.
Should I pick from your pile?
Sure.
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, this is like a wild card. Oh, interesting.
I forgot
Okay.
which one I did.
What's something that felt normal growing up that you now realize is special? That's kind of cute.
Depends on what you mean by special.
Yeah.
I have a good one and I have a bad one.
Okay.
Pimple popping. I thought it was just like the most normal thing for your mom to be like, all right, time to pop them. And me to be like, Mom, no. And then my sister and I had to like mind games each other into like, because we both had to do it, but my sister and I both like had really bad acne when we went through puberty. So we would have to like hold each other down while my mom popped our zits, because this was not a mom, I have like a really bad whitehead, it's not coming out, can you help me get it? It was all right, you know what it is, it's 3 p.m. Get over here. And my mom had like all these sanitized tools, and we'd be like, that's enough,
literally
that's
Dr.
enough. I don't
Pimple
want that
Popper.
one. And my sister and I would have to like literally like hold arms down, hold stomach down,
God.
because we knew that like it'd be our turn. And then I'd say that, and I'm like, that's why I have like a fuck ton of acne scars. I hate saying shit like this because my mom was like, please, sorry. Would you rather have had a whitehead? Like, I'll go home for Christmas, and Mom was like, nice whitehead on your face, I can see it, it's winking at me, you don't want me to grab that for you real quick? And I'm like, no, I was
Just let it heal. That's the best thing you can do. Put a fucking pimple patch on it and leave it be.
So there's that. I thought that I was like, yeah, your mom just pops your zits, like, it's what else is she gonna do? And my friends in college were like, no, I don't think that's a part of the mother-daughter experience. No. It's forcible pimple popping. And I'm like, but she's a doctor. She's a nurse. She would never
lead me astray.
And then my first college roommate was like, yeah, it's where all your scars come from. I'm like, what scars? Those are like active zits. She's like, those are acne scars. Every time your mom popped your zit, it stayed on your face. And I'm like, oh.
Mine is, I feel like mine's very different. I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm taking maybe like a wholesome approach to it, but I do feel very, very thankful. Listen, if you know me, despite the mommy issues of it all, I feel very, very thankful. I feel like growing up, my parents were, but I feel like I described my parents as like supportive to a fault, where like anything that I showed interest in, like I remember especially my mom growing up, she was so like, anything that I remotely showed interest in, she was like, oh my God, what's like a class that we can put you in for? Like, let's get you this like art supplies so you can like support your, you know, creative endeavors or whatever. And like literally I am so thankful for this opportunity. I was just talking about it the other day. I got to go to this like really fucking cool like 3-week long like film summer camp. Do you know like what Interlaken is?
No. Interlaken?
Interlaken, yeah.
Schmickeldorfen?
It's a
Interlaken?
It's the name of what it sounds like. It is a like arts boarding school in Michigan.
And where's the Nickelodeon show about
and
it?
They do literally. But they do summer camps. So they do summer camps. So I did like a 3-week long summer camp there for their film program in between 8th grade and freshman year. And it is so fucking expensive. And I found out later that my parents literally took out a loan so that way I could go to this fucking summer camp. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, my parents were so supportive, like, to a fault. And I'm so fucking thankful for that, like, obviously. But it is kind of interesting because I feel like I definitely, growing up, like, I didn't really realize that's what they were doing. Like, it was more, I think my mom especially just, like, I don't know if it was hope or joy or what it was, but like anytime I showed interest in anything, she was just like, oh my God, like what can I do to support you in this? Like, yeah, I feel like I didn't realize at the time like how special that was.
I'm going to give 1.2 because just in case it sounds like I'm like parent attack central over here. Again, I think the coolest thing that my dad ever, like, we did, our talks, they were really cool. And I got to know my dad better. I mean, he got to know me really cool. But my mom went all out for, like, birthday parties and stuff. Even to, like, into my teens. She was like, what is the theme?
That's me. That was me to myself.
No, but I was looking up, like, people would go through their, like, childhood photos. They're like, this is my birthday party. And I would ask them, like, and what was the theme of your 8th, like, birthday party? And they'd be like, my birthday. I don't know what theme. I think we got like a Mickey Mouse balloon, and I'm like, no, the theme. Like I remember when I really got into Harry Potter, my mom did like a Harry Potter themed birthday party, and when I say themed, bitch, I mean my mom put floating candles on the ceiling, like in the dining room, and like made them float there and light up and whatnot. And she made a whole menu, a themed menu with themed cards, and she put like Diagon Alley, like a brick wall on our front door, and like everywhere that could be decorated was decorated. She made mince pies and like yeah, it was just always like when there was a theme, there was a way. One of my sister's birthday themes was Glee. And yeah, it was a dress-up party. Yeah, everyone had to dress up. Yeah, my mom got Sue Sylvester's exact same tracksuit. Yes, she helped me dress up just like Blaine.
I was about to ask him, like, is that where that picture comes from?
Where I'm dressed up, my hair is all slicked back, and I'm wearing, like, a Goodwill fit of, like, a bow tie and a cardigan and bright yellow pants, and I'm holding a framed photo of Chris Colfer.
I love a theme. Love a theme. I mean, you know. Yeah, no, that's fun.
Yeah, TLDR, this one might be our longest episode yet, but it's our finale, so you will let us have it. I don't care if it's 3 hours long. I don't care. You're like, I care. Like, I have to edit it.
My torn. Interesting. It's really not that juicy. It's fine. Do you think the image you have of yourself matches the image people see you as?
Apparently not. Because
Elaborate.
I will tell them, you know this, I think I'm hideous. And I'm not even saying that for, like, as a joke or whatever. Like, I genuinely, like, I see me and I am repulsed. And, like, I keep saying this to people and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm like, clearly I have some hidden attraction that I just do not see. I see in very limited glimpses. But I'm like, and I think that I am always, like, a very commanding, very domineering presence. And I'm always, like, forcing people to do things. And so that's why I'm always checking in. I'm like, sorry, I forced you all into this. And my friends are like, what the fuck are you talking about? In my mind, I am like someone that like jumps into a conversation, sucks out all the air, and doesn't listen, and is ugly. And apparently, like, I talk to anyone and they're like, that is not true. So I know that there is a separate distinction, because apparently the way that people describe me if they like me, big if, is that I like add to a room and I'm lively and I'm so informative to them, and I'm like, really? And you don't all secretly hate me? Are you sure you're not all secretly writing a list of everything that you...
It all comes back. It all circles back. Sorry. That's insane to me. That makes like here. I don't know. I don't want to make you feel weird, but like that makes me really sad. Yeah. Like I feel like you like genuinely no, and I mean this with all sincerity, not like if you were actually ugly, like I would say that, because I probably wouldn't, but like genuinely you are so beautiful. Like, and I've told you this before, every time I fucking edit the podcast, I'm like, God, I look like a fucking gremlin. And Skylar's over here just like with perfect fucking cheekbones and like a symmetrical face and like the cutest little nose and like perfect like top to bottom lip ratio. Like,
thank you for just saying perfect lips. I think you panicked for a second and you had to elaborate a little bit more, so you ended up and perfect lips.
but like yeah, that and you're like so funny and like cool and sweet, and I feel like you, and I've told you this before, but you do such a fabulous job of like adapting to different social situations. I know you literally said before, you're like, I feel like I don't know how to read you know how to read a room.
Oh, thank God.
You do. You really do. And I feel like you do a good job of like adapting in that way. And like, I don't know whether or not that's your true self, that's like a different thing, but I do feel like that's a good skill to have, is just to know like how to maybe that's bad. Maybe this is bad.
No,
maybe this is me being bad. But I'm like, how to like adjust your presence to be like, just to be like likable in any scenario.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very good tool to have that not everyone has, and it's very valuable.
I get in a lot of like tiffs with my family. My family's incapable of doing that.
Yeah.
It makes me so irritated. And then they're like, why do you always have a bad mood all the time? Like, you're all like, you think you're so much better than us, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, none of you can read a room. No one in my family was born with the innate blessed ability, except maybe my dad, of like being a chameleon, like a vibe chameleon. I was like, my mom was just so like unapologetically herself, which on the one hand I admire, but on the other hand, I'm like, sometimes that's annoying for someone who like is such a people pleaser all the time, that I can try to like, I do try my best. I always think that I'm unsuccessful, but I try to blend into a room and base the vibes. And if the vibes are a little bit more downer, I'm not about to be the AA meeting member that's like, all right, guys, let's get started. Like,
Yeah.
And my mom was just herself in every situation, which on the one hand, again, love that. On the other hand, and then she's like, why are you so pissy with me? And I'm like, because you're pissing me off. How dare you not adapt?
That's what I was saying. That's why I was like, maybe this is a bad thing. Maybe this is like a poor reflection on myself, in that I feel like, not that I feel like I can't be my authentic self, but I feel like I definitely adjust what my authentic self means.
Yeah.
Depending on the social situation. Because it's like, sometimes it's just not appropriate.
No.
Like, it just isn't. And I definitely do admire people who are just like truly themselves through and through. And I appreciate that. Sometimes I wish that could be me.
God, I wish that were me.
God, truly. But it's also like, there's definitely a certain skill of being able to kind of adapt and chameleon yourself. Like, I feel like it makes, especially, I mean, in a business setting, that's very important to make yourself kind of likable in all of those types of scenarios, because it makes you, I don't know, seem like a trustworthy like person in a business.
And that's how they get you. What about
in a business scenario? Do I think that the image that I have of myself matches the image people see me as? I think it depends, obviously, depending on like how close I am with someone. I think to a certain extent, yes. But also I definitely feel the therapy's coming out. It's coming out, guys.
Yay.
I was talking to my therapist about this, and I was like, I feel like, I think I talked to you about this a little bit too, like the last time that we recorded, but I'm like, I feel like a lot of, especially my friends, I don't know if it's necessarily like outsiders, but I feel like a lot of the people who I'm close to kind of have this, and this could be me totally making this up, but I feel like a lot of people have this opinion of me that I'm very like put together and organized and like and logical, and that I'm the type of person you can come to for advice for things and certain things. So it's like, I feel like because of that, it doesn't necessarily allow me the space to be emotional sometimes and to be messy sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I feel that pressure from other people who perceive me as this like put together perfectionist, which I do think I am, definitely, but there's also this other side of me that like I think I'm really afraid to let people see, because I don't want their opinion of me to change, like I don't want people to like see me as like emotional. And like,
how long did it take me to like to see me cry like a really, not like at a movie, but like me being like, I am sad and I feel shitty about myself, and I am not, this isn't a bit, I'm not doing a bit, I'm not trying to make you laugh right now, I'm not trying to be sage and a wise, I'm like, I am sad and I am distraught and I need comfort right now because I'm lonely.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
And it
took a while, definitely. I feel similar. I feel like we're similar on that wavelength, where like there's definitely some people who, again, like are just so authentically themselves, and like I think feel very close to people very quickly. And not that I don't feel close to people quickly, but like I think it really takes a lot for me to truly let down that shield of myself, because I feel this like intense pressure to maintain a certain image of myself, and I never want to taint that. And I'm like, you only get that like quote unquote tainted version if we are really close. And like, I only allow you to see that like emotional aspect of myself and that like distraught aspect and, you know, all these things if we are really close. Because if I don't know you that well, then like, you are going to get that perfectionist side of me. And not that that's not a part of me, because it definitely is. It's, I feel like I'm making this answer much more complicated than it needs to be. But like, I think for the most part, the image of myself matches, I think, what other people see of me. But there's definitely certain aspects of myself that I really don't let people see unless like we're super close.
Ah.
Yeah.
Who would you cast to play each of us in a movie based on your life?
Oh my God. Based on my life?
Yes. If there's a movie based on your life, who would play you and who would play me? Because I'm going to be in it.
Okay. I would want Margaret Qualley to play me.
I don't know who that is.
That's the girl from Drive Away Dolls.
The Southern one?
Yes.
Oh, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. I love her. Have you seen Maid?
No, but I've seen clips of it on TikTok.
She's so good. She's so good. She is a Nepo baby, but she's like...
I feel like you can really tell when someone's a Nepo baby with like
Really?
the jaw structure of their face.
True.
I said
But
draw,
her mom's like a mid... I feel like her mom's like a mid-tier actor. Like, she's not like an A-list actor, but her mom is still a very successful actor. But I love Margaret Qualley. She's married to Jack Antonoff.
Married already?
Yeah, because Taylor Swift was at their wedding, and all of Taylor Swift's fans...
Jack Antonoff is straight?
Yeah.
When I tell you that I've been under the impression that Jack Antonoff was in a long-term married gay relationship this entire time, I clocked that man as a homosexual man this entire time. And you know what? I don't know if he's straight. Oop, internal. That man isn't gay.
Maybe he's bi. I don't know. But him and Margaret Qualley are married. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right. It could be Qualley or I don't know. But yeah, because literally Taylor Swift went to their wedding because obviously she's besties with Jack Antonoff, and all of her fans like.
Oh, I know that wedding, and all the fans were there and like caused the huge like traffic jam.
Yeah, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
I just saw Jack Antonoff's wedding. When I tell you, there was not a shadow of doubt in my mind that he got married to a man. I don't know if it's because I always picture him as like a version of David from Schitt's Creek, but like I'm like, that is a homosexual. That is crazy. To a woman?
Yeah, who plays a lesbian woman in a recent film. Yeah, Margaret Qualley and Jack Antonoff. Yeah, because he used to date Lena Dunham.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Really? Lena Dunham used to date anyone?
Okay, for you, I feel like I would have, what is her name?
I gotta see.
I feel like I would have, Haley Lou Richardson.
Haley Lou Richardson.
I don't know why. I feel like she would do a really good version of you. She was in White Lotus.
Oh, wait. I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Really? I love her. She was in the second season of White Lotus.
That's a pretty girl.
She's stunning. She was in a Netflix movie, a Netflix original movie that came out this year. Oh my God, she was in... Did you ever watch The Edge of 17 with...
I meant to.
That's a good movie. She's in it. She plays What's-Her-Face's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing such a good job of describing people. I know. Yeah, the Edge of 17. Love at First Sight. That was the like 2023 Netflix movie that came out. It was fine.
Damn, I'm not caught up on my rom-com lore. I'll have to go back to the books on that one.
Yeah, but I would say Margaret Qualley and Haley Lou Richardson.
I forgot that means that I have to answer this. Weirdly, I've had a celebrity doppelganger since I was in high school, but she's like in her 30s now, so I don't, unless we do like a...
Wait, oh my God, who is your celebrity doppelganger? Have you seen all the like controversy that's happening just on TikTok about Love is Blind, of the girl who said that people tell her she looks like Megan Fox?
No.
Okay, my TikTok is broken. But also I've been watching Love is Blind. So there's this girl who I'm going to show you what she looks like, because everyone is fucking hating on her. I feel like for no reason, because the conversation came up. Did she bring it up? Yes. But she was basically like, oh, like, do people ever tell you you have like a celebrity doppelganger? And I don't remember what the fuck this guy said, whatever. And he was like, oh, like, what about you? And she was like, oh, like, yeah, people always tell me I look like, who is it? It's like MGK's wife. And he was like, Megan Fox. Like, people tell you look like Megan Fox. And she was like, yeah, but like, I don't really see it. I think it's just because I have blue eyes and like dark brown hair. So she literally says, she's like, I don't see it. But like, people tell me this.
Okay, but she also did that thing where like I'm so unsubtle about when I want people to say something. Like, I'm like really giving them, because she couldn't say that girl from Transformers, because then people would be like, oh, that's Megan Fox. But she had to go above and beyond to like make it seem like she had no clue who Megan Fox was. She was like,
yeah,
what is her name? I think MGK's wife. And I'm like, really? You really want people to be like, what, you mean Megan Fox? She's like, oh, that's her name. Never thought of her. Never looked her up. Never put my face next to her face. Oh, that is her name. Duh. One of the most famous, like, fucking hot women of the entire 2010. You're right. Oh my God. Her.
So then he was like, wait, Megan Fox? Like, you're saying you look like Megan Fox? And she's like, no, like, I don't see it. But like, yeah, like, people have told me that before. So then when they meet in person, he's like, so she lied about how she looks. Like, she doesn't look like Megan Fox. Here, and the internet is dragging her because everyone's like, girl, like, you don't look like fucking Megan Fox. I think she does. Not in the way, like, she's not Megan Fox's twin, but she definitely has qualities that like resemble Megan Fox. Like, I have people who, like, people have told me my celebrity like lookalikes are Maya Hawke, which I feel like it's just kind of because of the hair.
Yeah.
I've heard Maya Hawke, Emma Myers, and
what, Zoella?
No.
I'm putting that one in the ring.
Zoella, interesting. Oh my God, what's her name? From Ice Princess. The one girl from Ice Princess. Megan, it's like Megan Trachtenberg or something. Or maybe it's not Megan. Michelle Trachtenberg. Those are the three that I've heard before. And then people tell me the one girl from that 70s show, the redhead. But I feel like it's just our voice. I feel like we have similar voices. Yeah. But okay, so I'm going to show you. So this is Chelsea, right next to Megan Fox. Does she look like Megan Fox? No. Do they have similar eyes, hair, and nose? I think so. Like, literally, like, if you were to be like, who is this lady's celebrity lookalike? I feel like I would say Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Like, she has features. She definitely has features that resembles Megan Fox. Is she a fucking, like...
dead ringer?
Yeah, no. Obviously.
I think the chin is really what is clouding a lot of people's judgment, is she has, like, a stronger chin than Megan Fox does.
Yeah.
And honestly, like... I know you said that she never said that. She did, though, in fewer words, because she's like, people tell me I look like this. I never see. It's like you going up to someone that, like, people tell me I look like Jennifer Lopez. I just don't see it. Like, girl, no one has ever fucking said that you look like that. You would not off rip say
Trachtenberg.
That. Oh, yes.
Like, I don't.
Yes.
Who is yours? Who's yours?
Oh, Jennifer Stone. The girl who played Harper from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay,
interesting. So she's been my doppelganger. People, like, a section of theater called me Harper for like a semester.
That's kind of
it never stuck, but I wanted it to stick though. I thought that was a cute nickname, and I wanted to be different. I don't know who I would pick for you though. Like, I was hoping that I would. Here's the thing. Not to get sappy and gay on Maine, but I feel like in order for me to like look at, I don't keep up with young emerging actor talent enough. Like, once I know someone's name, they've been in the business a little bit. Like, I don't know all the up and comer, like, under 20 or ish actors that are like hitting the scene in like nepo baby TV shows and stuff. So like, I don't know. I feel like I would need to find like a model, and I'm not saying that to like blow smoke up your ass, but I'm like, you have very delicate features, and you have like, I don't know, honestly, if you told me that you were Nepo baby, I'd believe you, just because I'm like, yeah, this is purposeful breeding. I see it in the face.
Thank you. Do you see Maya Hawke? Or is it just the hair? I feel like it's just the hair.
I don't even really see Maya Hawke in like
like mannerisms.
I'm trying to say aneurysms instead. I don't.
Do you know who Emma Myers is?
I don't. She
played what's her face in Wednesday.
That I've seen. This is the most I can see. The most I can see her the most. Actually, that's my pick.
Emma Myers. Okay.
Yeah.
She's a bit young. I mean, she's only a few years younger, but she's a bit younger. Okay. Next one?
Yeah.
My turn.
My
let's
turn.
do a level 3.
The girls.
Who knows what this is? Oh, a wild card. A wild card. Oh, okay. This is more for us than the pod because it's not really. I mean, we can describe the images. Scroll through each other's Instagrams, find the picture you feel best represents your partner's essence, and comment why you chose that image. So I will have to steal your phone.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna go first. Kay. All right.
I forgot. Oh, did I tell you I had an Etsy shop when I was... This is, again, my parents being overly supportive. I had an Etsy shop when I was, like, 11. And I made, like, Palmer clay phone keychains. And I sold them. And my Etsy shop was named Little Miss Panda. Because pandas were my favorite animal at the time. I had a panda pillow pet. It was a good time.
Okay. I think I might have found it.
Okay.
This one. Limes. Because I feel it has all the signifiers of the vibes that you give off. First of all, you're in front of Pump, which is funny because we're going to go there again.
No, because Pump closed down. Oh, fuck! I know, that's a historical image because Pump is no longer around.
But I've said this to Kaylynne before, not to make you self-conscious, but because it's one of my favorite things about you. But you are probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, no, regardless of being friends with, seen. And you have the riz of like a mom, and I feel like it helps balance everything out. Like when in doubt, like you are effortlessly sexy by doing nothing. But when you do, like we're in like a bar or a club or a dancing setting, you don't know how to be sexy, so you'll get into like the mom dances. Like she'll hit me with the shoulder shimmy with the lips puckered out. She'll hit me with a disco finger. She'll hit me with a finger wag. She'll hit me with a ooh ooh ooh, like she will move like a 35-year-old woman named Karen, and that is also the pose that you have adopted in front of this nightclub.
Okay, so this is like an image. This is an image of me and my roommate / bestie Taylor outside of Pump, the Lisa Vanderpump restaurant. And we're back to back. Taylor looks amazing and beautiful and sexy, and I'm doing a little like what's that called? Yeah, a raise the roof move
with her tongue out and her like
I'm doing a little like with a raise the roof. It is
there's
giving millennial mom a little bit.
A picture of some produce.
Well, because I took a photo of this because I thought it was hilarious because it's a bunch of lemons. It's a bunch of lemons inside of a Ralph's. But then the sign below it says limes 2 for 1. And it's like, why are you putting this sign for lime? Like, these are lemons.
Here's a photo that I took.
Beautiful. At the Renaissance
where she knows
Fair.
her angles. This is you thrifting. So, like, I feel like this post just has it all. Your cats.
Okay.
What
you're
else?
talking about... I was saying one specific image.
Oh, no, this is just this post, but also this image.
Okay.
The other images are supplementary images, but that one image really does.
Oh,
that's right.
Yours.
Mine.
Okay, I was gonna say either... This one, I love this photo of you. Did I take it? Yes. It's just you inside like a gas station holding up pads.
Yep.
But you're dressed like a sexy like 70s like businessman. I don't know.
It's you have the shoulder pads.
Yeah, you have a bunch of rings on, which we love, and like a corduroy blazer. And it's just such a perfect, like, you're just so like, it's just such an okay. Well, I can't do this without changing the microphone, but like your face is just such a perfect like I'm not because it was candid. It was a completely candid photo, and I feel like every time I see a candid photo of myself, I'm like in the middle of speaking and I'm like like it's horrible, but it's literally just so you're just like I can't even describe. You're just looking into the distance and so wonderful. So that's a contender just to show how beautiful and stunning you are, but also like your style. But then a runner up is this image of you at your office desk. You look stunning and gorgeous and beautiful, but also you are gesturing to your computer, which is on it is a full screen of your. What was this for? This was for
our friend Lily, redacted full name.
Her PowerPoint party, and your PowerPoint was no one in High School Musical is straight. Which is true. If you watch if you reference the PowerPoint, it was all very accurate information. But I feel like this is you. You look beautiful and stunning and gorgeous, but also you're intelligent and a critical thinker. But also
Gay.
You're also gay, and also you're a Gen Zer who loves High School Musical. You're an ex-theater kid who like it. You know,
Had like a Zac Efron face.
I hate this image of myself. I need you to know. I go through my tagged images and I'm like, hide this photo. And this was one of them. Because I look like the Loch Ness Monster.
I think that is the only ugly picture I have ever taken of you, Kaylynne. And it's funny. I didn't even realize. So I didn't realize how bad it was until you complained about it. And then I really zoomed in and saw your face. And then I laughed. And then you went, okay, it's not that funny. You broke. I cannot express to you enough. Kaylynne Nowak cannot take a bad picture to save her soul. She looks like a llama in the picture. She looks like those goats that blep, where she's like, blah, 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 blah. Like she looks like she's like,
it's such a bad picture, but it's so funny. It's so funny. Like, I get it. I appreciate it.
You're like with tears in your eyes.
It's funny. I did, however, hide it on my profile. So,
but like I can't even imagine like not having it in my Instagram.
No, it's so good.
Keep me humble.
It's good. No, truly, and this is why sometimes you just need friends who will post bad photos of you, just keep you humble. They keep you, leveled.
Oh, this is actually like a cute, quirky one. What do you think my favorite and least favorite holiday is? Ooh. Explain.
Okay. Favorite and least favorite. I feel like your favorite holiday, I am going to say Halloween.
It's a close second.
Okay.
It's a very unconventional favorite. The only reason I can't say full Halloween is because a large chunk of Halloween is a love of like horror. And that's just not me.
But I feel like it's just like the dressing up.
Yes, like so much of Halloween I love. I love the pumpkin. I love the weather. But I cannot say that I'm fully 100% obsessed with the vibes when a large chunk of Halloween does in fact freak me out.
Okay, so I'm gonna, because I already said it. I'll say Halloween, and then least favorite. Like I don't like fucking like 4th of July. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yes, 4th of July, yes. Yeah. Not only am I not patriotic, but like, God,
loud noises.
I can't do fire.
I'll say Halloween and 4th of July.
Okay. Right to one. Because I have a huge fear of like blowing my fucking fingers off. When I was a kid and they were like, you have to light the firework. I'm like, I'd rather die. I would scream.
No.
My mom would have to like hold I'd be shaking as I'm trying to light the fucking fireworks. So yeah, no 4th of July. It was always too hot. Yeah. It was SWAS Central. Yeah. Like ass crack, sweat. Favorite holiday is St. Patrick's Day.
I almost guessed that. I really almost guessed that. Interesting. Why?
Because I feel like one of the other downsides too with Christmas and Halloween is that they suffer from their own expectations.
Yeah.
So like Christmas and Halloween as vibes, they are the most marketable, the most like packageable. They're like one season is a season you get fucking gifts and you watch holiday movies and like the vibes of Christmas are immaculate. The vibes for Halloween are immaculate. And then the day passes and you're like, that was it. And I feel like it's so easy for Christmas and Halloween to feel almost like letdowns because you're like, I have been hyping up this fucking day all month. Because Halloween and Christmas both happen at the end of the month. So you have an entire month of build-up, and then Christmas happens, and like, okay, that wasn't as fun as all the holiday movies and Christmas cookies and hanging up and decorating the tree. Like, these are all like individual moments, and then the day happens and it passes, and you're like, well, fuck. That was it? Mm-hmm. But for St. Patrick's Day, there are no expectations that I feel like I'm disappointed by the holiday every year. I'm disappointed by Valentine's Day, New Year's, like any holiday that's built up to like be this like magical thing. If it's not that thing, you kind of feel disappointed. St. Patrick's Day, I get to make my own magic. First of all, Celtic music makes me go buck fucking wild. It makes me someone tie like a saddle to me, I'll ride us off into the sunset. Celtic music will make me go on a treadmill for 1,000 years. There's something deep and ancestral about it. It awakens something in me. Even if it's like
Irish?
I'm part Scottish.
Oh, interesting. Have you ever been, sorry, not to completely interrupt you. Have you been to a Irish, like step dancing performance?
Yes, I've been to an Irish step. So that's what I like. I make St. Patrick's Day my day.
Yeah.
So that way I'm never disappointed by it. Because there's no... First of all, the St. Patrick's Day parade when I was growing up was always fun. Because you always got to dress up and listen to, like, Irish pub music with the, like... it has, like, bagpipes and talking about fucking an Englishman and all these fun drinking songs. And then as a kid, I got to dress up in my green, like, outfits and whatever and go to a parade. And it was fun. And then we would go get, like, Irish food, which we would never, like... Not just like was it corned beef and cabbage, but other things. Like there's a whole Irish day of it, and you could listen to Irish music all day, and then you could watch like an Irish rom-com, the most brutal of all time. Irish rom-coms have no happy endings. It's not just leap year. There are others. I would go through like sometimes like a historical Irish movie, which are always quite sad.
Yeah.
Or recently I would watch like an episode of Dairy Girls or something.
Can you do an Irish accent?
Very poorly.
Okay.
I need like a sentence. I can't just like off the cuff say one just because it's so different from.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
No, I don't think anyone from Ireland even says. I can say like words. I can say like Ireland. I can be like Saoirse, and I can be like Olaf.
Okay.
An Englishman.
That's good.
Yeah, it's quite far.
I'm amazed. I'm
like,
amazed.
Yeah, once you like tap into the vowel sound, but it's hard unless I have a reference. But even then, it can go really deep into like every other whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite, and no one else gets to celebrate it either because no one else gives a fuck. So it's like my own little thing.
It's coming up. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. What are we gonna do? We'll find out.
Leave it to me.
We'll find out.
Let me plan it. What about you? Let me see.
What do you think? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you guess and then I'll elaborate.
If you're anything like me, your least favorite is Easter, just because you're like, what? It's like,
okay,
there's time chunked out for Easter because we live in a...
Wait, so is your least favorite 4th of July?
My least favorite is 4th of July.
Okay.
You were right about that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm just like, we get time off, but it's such like, it's the lamest holiday because it's our most overtly religious holiday.
Yeah.
And like, listen, I may not love Valentine's Day, but I love hearts, you know?
Eggs.
But like, Easter, okay, there's all this Easter stuff. Okay, bunnies.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Okay.
Thank you for dominating like the Target $1 section for no reason, for the worst vibes.
So true.
Pastels look awful on everyone.
So true.
So that's my pick. That's just me projecting hardcore. And then I think for favorite, I think you have a soft spot for Christmas.
Okay.
Despite your Christmas and birthday problem of crying because your expectation, I think you like gift giving too much.
Yeah.
And you love theming too much, and you love celebrating vibes too much to let Christmas go entirely.
So this is the thing. I don't know if this counts. I don't know if this counts. And I always say my favorite holiday is my birthday. And I don't know if that counts. But I love it. I love it because I fucking love planning an event. And that's like the one time a year that I can truly just plan an event like for myself with like no other expectations involved. The day you get
engaged, Kaylynne, is going to be a frightful day.
But I really feel like despite me crying almost every year on my birthday because I have such high expectations, I do really just love my birthday because like it feels so good to like feel loved by like the people around you. But also I just love planning, and like I feel like my birthday is the one thing a year that I get to just like put my whole pussy into planning, you know? And I love that aspect of it. Also, my birthday is almost always over Labor Day. And it's just like, I feel like it's just a nice time of year where it's like still nice out, but it's like the beginning of fall. I really, really love it. But Christmas is a close second. Christmas is definitely a close second. And then 4th of July. 4th of July is my least favorite as well. I hate fireworks. I really hate fireworks. There's like the environmental aspect, the like PTSD aspect, the like animals aspect. Like it freaks out animals all the fucking time. I don't really understand the purpose of them. I don't love them. It's hot as balls. It's like, I don't
4th of July food is almost always covered in like a thin layer of sheen because
like
all
grease.
The food are sweating because it's July, and so if you have like a potluck situation, which I feel like most 4th of July block parties are, the food is sweating. the food was once cold is now not cold. Or if it was once hot, like pizza, it is now not hot. It is, but it's not cold either.
Yeah.
It's sweating.
Yeah, it's just
The food is all moist. Like the chips are all moist because it's so fucking humid and
So
everyone has sticky hands.
I don't love 4th of July. I've never really considered Easter, which is interesting. I don't hate it. I do remember one year I was very disappointed because this was when I was at the age where I believed in the Easter bunny.
Oh.
And we went to my grandparents for Easter and we got Easter baskets there. And I was such a material girl from like a young age. I am. Yes. I was like, what's that like David Beckham bit where it's like, be honest. Be honest. Listen. But I was like such a material girl from such a young age where literally we like went to my grandparents for Easter and we like spent the night, and then Easter morning we woke up and like the Easter bunny brought us baskets or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, how would the Easter, like in the like logic of my brain, I was like, how would the Easter bunny know that we were at grandma and grandpa's? So by the time we get home, there will be a second Easter basket waiting for us at home. And then we got home and I was so excited. I like ran upstairs and I was like, where the fuck is the Easter basket? Like I was so confused. And then my parents were like, oh, like you already got it. And I was like, but how did they know that we were at grandma and grandpa's? I think they like made up some lie off the cuff. And they were like,
same with Santa.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we told them whatever. And I remember one time this is a St. Patrick's Day thing. I remember one time my parents had to have been so pissed because it was literally like the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I was either talking to friends or maybe it was my teacher actually who told me this. But they were like, oh, if you take like a shoebox and you decorate it for like the leprechaun will come and like fill your shoebox with like chocolates and like goodies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I think I came home and I was like, oh, like, do we have like an empty shoebox I can use? And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, why? And I was like, oh, I'm going to decorate it so that like the leprechaun can come. And they're like, what are you talking about?
And they're like, oh, motherfucker, I got to buy a bag of candy.
Literally, they're like, we have to go to fucking Walgreens. It's like 9 p.m. And I was like, oh yeah, like my teacher said if we decorate the shoebox, then like the leprechaun will come and then it'll be filled with treats like when we wake up. And there were multiple occasions growing up where I did shit like this so it was like 9 p.m. and my parents are like looking at each other and they're like, we have to go to fucking CVS, don't we, to like get her chocolate and shit to fill this stupid shoebox with,
to not destroy her sense of whimsy.
Literally. And I remember one time I lost a tooth. This is a completely separate story. But I lost a tooth and I remember telling my mom, I was like, why does the tooth fairy always leave money? Like, why doesn't it leave like little gifts? Like, I don't understand why.
Or another tooth. Get it back in there.
But I was like, why doesn't it leave like little gifts or trinkets or something? And my mom was like, yeah, like, I don't know.
Why doesn't it leave? That's a missus to you. She's wed.
So I like just had that conversation with my mom and I left my tooth under my pillow. And then I woke up and there was no money under my pillow. And I was like, what the fuck? And then my mom was like, oh, maybe you look under your bed. Like maybe she left it under the bed. And it was so cute. It was a little like ladybug, like travel jewelry case. And it was so fucking cute. But I started sobbing because I was like, no, but not this time. I was like, yeah, that was cool. But like this time I wanted money because I think it was close to Mother's Day. And I really wanted to get my mom a gift.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, I really wanted her to leave me money so that I could get you a gift for Mother's Day. And looking back, I feel kind of bad for my mom because I was sobbing because I was like, yeah, like I said I wanted a gift, but not this time. Like not this time I didn't because I wanted to get you something for my Mother's Day. And I'm sure my mom was like, whatever the fuck you were gonna get me from the dollar store, like I wouldn't have given a shit about anyway. So like just take the fucking ladybug.
Did I tell you what my parents did for me for the tooth fairy?
No.
Yet again, my parents going above and beyond to make magic and whimsy. This is the same mom that was like pissed off that my aunt when I was 18 was like asked me for help with Santa shit. She was like, she told you Santa wasn't real. I was like, I'm 18. Yeah. I could like sign up for the military if I wanted to. But like my tooth fairy had a name. Her name was Pixie Dusty. I'll have you know. My sister's was Trixie Dusty. All right. They had names. All right. And my mom not only would do that thing where she would like, you know, she's like, put it in like a cute, she'd say, we can't just leave a tooth under the pillow. That's barbaric. She's like, you have to put him in a box. So we'll pick like a tiny itty bitty box from like Target or Walmart or whatever. So I had this like, I think jewelry box that was like a little rectangle, and then I put that under my pillow. And so I would wake up with this like trail of glitter from the window to my pillow. I would open it up, and not only would there be like a little dollar coin, but there'd be a tiny scroll wrapped up and tied with a piece of ribbon. I undo that ribbon, and it is a message straight from my tooth fairy that my dad typed out and put in size 6 font. So the font was very tiny, and it was like, "Hi Skyler, wow, I had to fly all the way to Nebraska to see you this time. It looks like you've been brushing." Like, and a little bit about how like something if I did something that month, it's like, "Wow, I saw that your knee was in a cast," or like my ankle was in a cast. Better luck flying next time. Love, Trixie Dusty, your tooth fairy. And I kept all these little notes.
That's so
and I was like,
cute.
When I was like 12, I was like, "Okay, Dad, be honest. Like, you're doing this, right?" And he's like, "You can't make font that small, Skyler." Jeez. And I'm like, damn, he's
Only
right.
a tooth fairy's typewriter would be able to do that.
But they picked the handwriting font. So it looked like it was written in cursive. So you could be like, "I literally can't even type that if I wanted to." He's like actively gaslighting me.
So
maybe not 12. 12 is too old. But like young enough where I'm like, or old
Yeah.
enough that I was like, "Dad, be honest. I won't be mad. This is you, isn't it?" And he's like, no. Computers cannot type that small. You sound crazy.
You sound insane. If you're watching the YouTube, you may have seen that the lighting has changed, and that's because we are finally utilizing the ring light that we've been using as a tripod all 50 episodes and have never once turned the light on. So if you're wondering why are our faces so visible and seen now,
And how come
this is
you
why.
can see every pore on my face?
No, I don't think it's that good. It was like a $15 Amazon tripod. Is it my turn?
Sure. Yes. Sure.
I like how I literally pick these out and I'm like, eh. Okay. What do you admire most about me?
You're like, "Oh, I don't even want this card." But like, compliment me. What do I admire most about you? I know you just said that like it was through the high stakes of this astute observation that makes you feel like you can't be messy, but like I'm comforted and admire the most that you never seem to be at a loss. Like, you always seem to be like, if there is but not just like an emotional problem, but like a crisis or something that needs immediate whatever, you're never gonna be helpless. Because I feel like that is one of the things that pisses me off about like myself and other people too, is that they're like, "Well, now what? Like, what do we do now?" Like I'll be talking to someone and they'll be like, what should I, then what do I do? And on the one hand, I love giving advice, but the other hand, I'm like, "Girl, I don't know. Figure it out." I've never had to think that way with you. You've never been like, "Here's a problem," and I have no game plan whatsoever. Like, I always feel like no matter, like, it may not, like, you have a way out of situations. You're never like, you never throw your hands up in the air and you're like, "Well, I don't know. I guess I just won't deal with it. I guess that will just never happen." I think whenever there's a problem, you're like, annoying. Well, anyway, I'm going to tackle it and I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it effectively and probably the correct way. But like, I'll complain the whole time, but it will get done. Like, if there are things in my life that I don't like doing, they won't happen. And then I'm just like, "What do you mean my house is dusty? Have you dusted?" Shocker. Like you're never gonna be like, "Oh, goody, a task." You're always gonna be like, "It never ends." But you're always like, "So yeah, I have figured that out, and I have done that, and I have set up like a whatever." Ugh, annoying, right? And I'm over here, I'm like, I haven't done any of those things. Like, I can't relate to you right now about how annoying it is to do like the things necessary to live an active and good life. But yeah, annoying having to put money away for a 401k. I hate that. I hate investing. I know.
I literally was going to bring up the IRA.
Yep.
Do I need to have? I feel like what's the question? What do I most admire? I was going to say I feel like the quality that I most admire about you is just your intelligence and your way. You genuinely, you have such a way of being able to absorb information and then relay it in like such a digestible way that I feel like I really struggle with. I feel like I had many teachers who struggled with it.
I was gonna be a teacher.
Crazy.
Would it shock
you would have been a good teacher. You like genuinely, like, you really would have. Like, I'm No hate to teachers. I'm kind of glad you're not a teacher because it sounds miserable.
Yeah, me and my sister.
But I feel like you really would have been like, you genuinely have, you are able to like, I feel like really absorb information and understand it like very quickly, and then be able to relay it in a way that is digestible for like the general public, aka me.
My adoring fans.
Because I feel like sometimes I get information and I'm like, okay, like I'm, you know, especially when we're doing the fucking podcast, like sometimes I feel like I absorb information. I'm like, okay, I like kind of understand it at a very base level, but then I end up just like regurgitating what I've read because I don't necessarily understand it in a sense of where I feel like I can teach it. And I feel like you have a quality about you that like that just, at least to me, it seems like it comes very easily and naturally, and I admire and am seethingly jealous of every time. Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
You're torn.
Kicking my feet. I like these level ones because they're like cute and quirky. And then I pulled the next one. In one sentence, describe the home you grew up in.
Like, like what did it look like? Like what did it feel like? Like what do we mean?
I guess describe like the vibes. Like growing up at the Noax, what was that like? One sentence.
Okay, I'm going to contain this to like my early childhood before the trauma happened. I feel
GT before trauma.
Literally. I feel like growing up at the Gurky Noax, because my mom, the queen she is, hyphenated her last name, and I appreciate that for her. And honestly, she was always very like, whenever my parents would be like Mrs. Noack, she would be like, oh, it's like Gurky Noack, like it's Miss Gurky Noack. I know, I was like, queen. I don't know, I feel like, I mean, I always described my mom specifically, and she kind of like ran the household, especially what we were eating. I always described her as like a health freak, which now growing up, I feel like she just wanted to make sure we had nutritious meals. But I would go to school with my like wheat bread and like my like sprouted wheat bread with like all natural peanut butter. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then all my friends are having like French toast pizza for lunch. Yep. And I'm like, I don't want this. So it was we didn't have a lot of like fun treats. We had a lot of wheat bread.
This is not one sentence.
Okay.
You're like, but I'm pinching that thought off.
One sentence. I feel like growing up in my household was chaotic because I had older brothers. It was, this is a ongoing sentence. It was fun and supportive of creativity, and a little chaotic because we just had a lot of animals, like at all times. Like we had random fucking animals. Like
so it was chaotic and fun and chaotic.
Yes.
In that order.
Yes, and I agree with that. I stand by that. I don't know. It's hard.
You said because you had a lot of animals, though, right? I feel like I cut you off, but
yeah, no. We had a lot of animals, but it wasn't like we had like not like you had a lot of animals.
Yes,
as well.
We still have a lot of fucking animals.
But we had like one dog, one cat, but then we also had like a parakeet, 2 frogs, a fish, a snake, like we had like a bunch of random fucking animals.
I had like a bunny at one point. We had guinea pigs.
Oh, I had 2 gerbils.
Yeah.
I had 2 gerbils. I accidentally killed one.
Yeah, that's the gerbil way.
Yeah, that's just, if you don't have a traumatic rodent story, like you
haven't lived.
You haven't lived. I don't know. I really don't. I feel like, I know this isn't the question, but one thing that I really look back on my childhood that I'm very, very thankful for, and especially like looking back on like who my mother was like before mental illness, I feel like I really admired her creativity and her like willingness to like be different and unique. But like truly, I feel like my mom was just very unafraid of being herself, and I'm very thankful that I was able to grow up in a household that was supportive of creativity and of open thought and of questioning and of, you know, all of these things that I think often are suppressed in households. And I feel like I was able to grow up in a household, especially in, you know, a relatively small town, Iowa. I feel very thankful that I was able to grow up in a environment that was supportive of like free thinking. You know, awesome. That was more than one sentence, but
I was like, let me see if I can follow the assignment. No, I'm going to explain bold first of all, because my parents knew the things that they liked and they weren't at all shy about showing it. Like, they were really encouraging of, I guess, their own passions. Like, my mom knows the things that she likes, and she is very loud and exorbitant about those things. Like, it doesn't really matter what, my mom will go into it full hog and make it like her new personality. But she was not at all being like, that's weird, you should hide how much you like that thing. She might not have liked the things that I liked, but she liked the things that she liked a lot. And if you just so happen to like the same thing, that was really cool. And then again, for like birthdays and stuff, like she was never like a if you're really enthusiastic about something, let's keep that down. Like, you know, they were very much like they encouraged a very obsessive mindset over whether it was Disney, whether it was reading, whether it was Harry Potter, whether it was anything. They were like, we're obsessed with our things, you can be obsessed with your thing. So that's why I'm a giant nerd. I'll say chaotic and loud because at any given moment, I do live in a very just like volume-wise loud house. In the loud house. That TV show from Nickelodeon that was like fucking made by that pedophile. But no, it was like it's not just like my sister and my mom and I just like overly yelling. It's like our dogs will not stop barking. It's the music that is being played will not stop being blasted. Like, it's, my mom didn't care about like having ducks in the backyard because like they could quack all they wanted. Like, we are a loud house. But loud is like good. Like, honestly, the other thing too is like my mom might have made like her casual comments like, I don't know about that one, but if I wanted to look like a clown, she let me do that. Maybe if I wanted to be like a sexy clown, she wouldn't have let me do that. But like if I wanted to like dress in bright weird colors and have my makeup look bad and have my hair like combed all the way to the side of my forehead, they let me do it. They're like they were not afraid of having a theater kid for a daughter, and they were not afraid of having like an obsessive nerd as another daughter. Like we could talk all we wanted and it was fine, and we were a very boisterous home. And so yeah, I think it would be that. But our problems were also loud. Like when we fought loud. Whenever like it wasn't just a casual zit popping. We would scream when we felt like whatever it was. If our problems were small, they were big problems. If there was tea at work, it was big tea. If there was dishes in the sink, it was a big deal. Like, it was always 100 all the time, which I feel like is a very, I don't know, common thing, I guess, with like larger families, but my family isn't that big. So like we like packed a big like 20-person Italian family dynamic or like a Greek family dynamic into like a 4-person family. Not much of a quiet moment though. Ever. My dad's even a quiet person, but the second you get him alone and he's not working, he's like, so let's talk about the state of the world for 1,000 years. And I'm like, like you never had a moment of privacy. You never had a moment of quiet.
Interesting.
Yeah. Are things clicking? Are things making sense for both of us?
They are. It's making sense. Okay, we have just hit the 2-hour mark.
Nice.
And it is almost 6 p.m. So I think perhaps we do one last question.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna sift through. Okay.
What would your younger self not believe about your life today? What would your younger self not believe about your life today? Woof.
That I do weed.
Honestly, same.
Truly.
I was such a big like dare kid. I was
my God,
not
absolutely.
Even once. Oh my God, I'm so big brained. I'm high off life.
Yeah.
Life gets harder.
things happen and you grow and you have different understandings of things, and sometimes that happens. What would my younger self not, well,
this is gonna get real sad, I promise. Like, this is gonna sound like I keep harping over issues that have happened like over a decade ago, but unfortunately, like, the anti-bullying campaigns really do have it down with, like, when you're bullied as a kid, you know how hard that shit takes to go away on its own.
Yeah.
Like, even I hate, like, my one critique with Heartstoppers, they're like, I know about the bullying. You don't say bullying or bullies past 14.
Yeah.
You say, like, assholes at school. Like, you don't say, like, oh, I was bullied. You don't say that in the moment when you're a teenager, because bully and bullying is, like, a funny word. It honestly sounds kind of, like, more joyous than what actually it is. But, like, I think one of the things that I think my younger self would just frankly not believe is that, first of all, I, as a kid, was really, really adamant on doing that, like, Augustus Waters thing of changing the world and making a difference, but also having the, like, nihilistic outlook that it would never happen for me. So knowing that I'm, like, first of all, I moved out of my hometown, which I was so afraid I was going to die. Now, again, you're so dramatic when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you're like, I'll just die in the Midwest and no one will remember my name. Like, dying in the East Coast or West Coast will make your life any more remembering. Like, who gives a fuck? But I think my younger self would not believe that I moved to LA, which was always, like, what I said I would never do, because LA seemed so scary.
Interesting.
I never thought I was going to move here. I thought I was going to be a novelist for the longest time.
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
And I was like, I love the cold. You just like to wear cardigans because you hated your body. You did not like the cold. Silly. But, like, the fact that I would live in LA. The fact that I took the plunge and I moved out here so far away from my family, they'd be like, what? The fact that I kiss girls? What? But I think to be in a group of people who like me, crazy.
Nay, love.
I'm still a little bit, like, I'm afraid I'm putting a little bit too much of my self-worth into that. Like, you shouldn't put your self-worth into your friends, because the second your friends get lives outside of you, you'll take that personally. So I shouldn't put so much stock in having a friend group that's always going to be there. But
it's important to have close friends, I think. On the other hand.
On the other hand. And I think it's just I've become the chill girl that I kind of was always pretending to be. Like, I was very, not just self-conscious, but in my own head about a lot of things, and the fact that I am the person that people can come to, like, oh yeah, she's fun to hang out with, she's like, and she doesn't have to try to earn affection anymore, I feel like would have blown my fucking mind. Yeah. That I've gained the skills enough to walk into a room and not feel like I have to work super hard for people to like me. I'll just put on my likable face and then it'll just kind of happen. There are a couple things that, like, you know, I'll get really down in my own ass about, how, like, your friend, like, your younger self would see, like, that nothing had changed. Like, oh, we're still alone, are we? Still no partner, I see. Still don't find comfort in your own body, are we? And I'm like, yeah, damn, how far we've come. But I also just, like, the industry that I'm in not being what I thought that I would be in, crazy. The fact that I can do things at work and not be a helpless mess, which I once was, and I hated myself for being helpless. We know it. Refer back to this episode of I hate people who are helpless, and I used to be that way. Things would hit the fan, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know, so I'll just sit here and not come up with a plan. I'm no longer that way anymore. And the fact that I can just, I don't know, I feel like I'm cooler than I thought I would be, which is like, me cool? Unga bunga, caveman mode, me cool? But, like, I feel cool, which is bonkers. Like, I'm a big, loud nerd. I shouldn't feel cool, but I feel cool. Maybe that's the LA air. Anyway.
It's getting to you. It's the Erewhon. The
Erewhon air that's wafting towards my apartment is making me... The wavelengths are connecting a little bit more.
It's interesting because I can't relate in the, like, I always thought I would move out to LA. Like I just always did, like from like 5 years old. But that's because I wanted to be an actress. So I feel like one thing that my younger self wouldn't believe about me now is that you don't act ever like anymore.
My younger self would also be like, you don't even act in plays. And I'm like, no, dick,
we're done. We're done with that. Sorry. It was fun while it lasted, but you don't take it seriously enough to like pursue it as a career, so we're not doing that anymore. Also, you value stability, so
you value stability so much, Skylar. I know you don't know that,
much.
but you cannot live. I know you think you can live the life of like a suffering artist a la Rent, where all you need is like a black coffee and some cigarettes, and like you can just live on the streets, Phoebe Buffet style, with like the lifeblood of the city will pump through your veins. I thought I was gonna live in New York City. I thought that I was a New York City girl, through and through, but I'm not. I'm not that way. But like, you can be a starving artist. You can be like an eclectic, cool girl. Like, who's that? What a mystery. I'm like, that's the allure of being an eclectic girl in the Midwest. You cannot, that's not who you are. You love stability too much. I'm sorry to bore you, young Skylar, but you just love when things are stable, and you also have anxiety. Did you know that? Yeah. You get that.
And
pretty
listen,
bad.
It's important. Stability is important. Like, sorry. I also think another thing that I wouldn't believe is that like I don't value my job that much.
Literally, like we don't have our dream job. It's like, no, we don't.
No, I don't really believe in a dream job anymore. Yeah. I kind of feel like I feel like I used to envision myself as this like fancy like businesswoman, like out on the town, out in the city,
who needs to learn the meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And fell in love with like a pine tree farmer.
Literally. And I was like, I'm gonna be a businesswoman, like I'm gonna be, you know, like all these things. And I feel like I would surprise myself that like that's not that important anymore. Like I feel like now I'm at a place in my life where I kind of feel like my job is just like, do I want a job that I'm happy to have and that like fulfills me in some way? Absolutely. Absolutely. I, however, am not expecting to ever have a job that fulfills me completely, because I just never want to be at a place in my life, you know, presently, like I never want to be at a place in my life where like I'm getting all of my self-worth from my job, and that my job takes up the entirety of my time. I don't want that. I have other things that I'm interested in. I have other hobbies. I have other friends. I have other, you know, relationships that I want to maintain. Like I feel like I never envisioned for myself for my job to be kind of on like one of the bottom tiers of importance. Like, do I want a job that I enjoy and pays me well? Absolutely. I don't care that much about contributing to capitalism. like just, you know, frankly. Yeah. I feel like those are the main things. It's just that I don't think I value career as much as I thought I would. I don't think I have obviously a much different relationship with drugs and alcohol than like I thought I would, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe not alcohol, but I think at least I literally never thought that I would have an edible ever.
I don't read as much. I was a reader. I would knock out a book a week, and that's like on a slow.
Yeah.
Like my library card was like the shit, especially when I like got my own car and I could drive to the library whenever I wanted. And now I'm like, I don't read. You read fan fiction on your phone, queen. And yeah, that's well written. Yes, that's technically words on a screen. Is it a novel? No. And like just going to the library and like sitting down and reading the book. Like I'm reading a book in the library right now. It's taken a while because like it's just so much easier to just scroll through Twitter for a second. Because if you have to read a book, you're like, I have to have time for that shit. There's no time for that shit. Yeah, we don't read as much.
You would not believe that TikTok exists. No. You wouldn't even know.
We deal with makeup a lot more. Like I know there's so many people being like, there's the makeup that I used to do in middle school versus now. I could not tell you what my process was doing makeup in middle school, but what I do know is that my foundation was orange. I used my fingers. I did not match to my neck, and I looked awful.
I thought my ring finger could do anything. Literally, I remember watching like YouTube tutorials and they're like, use your ring finger, it's the gentlest of them. And I'm like, oh my God, blending queen. And now I'm like, I would never do that.
My entire makeup routine was orange foundation, powder, black thick eyeliner, sometimes mascara. Did not touch the cheeks. We did not touch the lips.
It was just
one color and maybe chapstick.
Interesting.
And no shiny. If there was any matte within me at all, it was powder time, baby. It was blotting sheet, baby. I looked like a big orange egg. Mm-hmm. And I was. I thought it was going to be really cool for me to have like a pink eyeliner moment to be different, but then I just looked like I had a sty. Whenever we went anywhere, it looked like I had pink eye and a sty.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is this the...
Oh no.
This is really unreal. This feels so unreal. Like I feel personally, I don't know, it's weird. Like I feel a bit of relief just because I know
how much of a bitch this is going to be to edit.
No, like I feel like there's a bit of me, like I genuinely have really enjoyed doing this podcast, but it's been one of those things that like I will put it off until like the day before or 2 days before, and then I'm like so fucking stressed out because I'm like, this is bad because I didn't put any fucking time into it. And like,
I've never thought your episodes were bad. If we're just putting shit on the record now, I've never walked away from an episode being like, wow, she dropped the ball. Even the one that you didn't like about like haircuts and whatnot, I'm like, we made it a fun time. It was a shorter episode. And afterwards, when you were like, I want to cut it, I wasn't like, no, please, I love that one. But like, we've never left a session and you've like, a session? Excuse me.
A recording session.
You never left a session.
In the booth.
And you leave and I'm like, well, that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I've always been like, wow, she brought her A game and I brought yet another thing that I am obsessed with. Way to go, Skyler. Way to go, making it all about the things that you like again.
Again, you do such a good job of teaching that, like, you just do it well. But no, this is so weird. Like, this is so weird. I don't like it. I don't like change.
It's definitely gonna be so weird not using my own voice as like I have to like watch myself and my own voice. It's gonna be so weird watching my opinions change.
Yeah.
Because like I sneak in some stuff that I'm pretty sure I don't even agree with anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be on the internet forever.
Sometimes I rewatch episodes and I'm like, I feel like I sound conservative, and that's not what I meant. Like, that's not what I meant at all. I feel like it just came across.
I feel like I sound like an idiot because I'll start a sentence and then get distracted and then never finish that sentence, or I'll try to say something and I won't use the correct terminology. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what I wanted to do before we leave. I wanted to do some. I told you some wrong info.
Corrections corner.
So remember how I said, so the entire length of the Twilight Saga is 24 months. Okay. I said it was 12. That's still 2 years.
Yeah.
For everything. So it's still an obnoxiously short amount of time. But I was wrong. And I will admit that I was wrong. Every time I'm like, and the timeline only 12 months? And I was so sure of myself, but I got my own math wrong. I did my own math. This is what happens when Skylar does math without being checked. And I forgot to mention this part of it. I know they're both Twilight themed, but Twilight keeps having its own like cultural like blip in my timeline. Mm-hmm. So there's this scene. I'm going to read it out loud now. The last I'm going to be able to do this on the podcast. This is from one of the last books. Once we were across the river, we walked barely faster than human speed. In no hurry, holding hands. I was sick of being under a deadline, and I just wanted to take my time. Edward must have felt the same. I have to say, I'm thoroughly impressed with Jacob right now, Edward told me. Remember, this is after the whole Renesmee thing. I think this is the last book.
Okay.
The wolves make quite an impact, don't they? That's not what I mean. Not once today did he think about the fact that, according to Nanuel, Nessie will be fully matured in just 6.5 years. I consider that for a minute. He doesn't see her that way. He's not in a hurry for her to grow up. He just wants her to be happy. I know. Like I said, impressive. Real quote, real paragraph. Confirmed that Nessie's going to be a full person in 6.5 years. That he did give her a promise ring about a week in. And then remember how I said that one of the pro-life weird problematic elements in the last book is that Bella is so convinced that Edward will beg her to get an abortion once he learns that she's pregnant, that she has to hide behind his sister, mm-hmm. because if other people know about it, he won't do that to her. There is a scene where he's like, Jacob, I will let you fuck my wife if you make her have an abortion, and they consider it. He was so serious about it too. He came to Jacob and it's like, I will let you fuck Bella if you convince her to get rid of this baby.
So what about Bella's decision in all of this? No, it doesn't matter.
Sorry, I know this doesn't matter, and you just said like a perfect send-off to this podcast, but I could not let a second more rest. I've been saving up little articles, being like, what before we turn the mic off for the last time, more Twilight shit. Mm-hmm. Just because I feel like, well, this actually, to really wrap it up, what are the episodes that you're the most proud of?
Oh, I know for sure the episode I'm most proud of is our like aging one. Mm-hmm. That one I just feel like I found really great articles for, and I'm very proud of the conversation that we had mm-hmm. around it. And I mean also just like personally, I feel like I did a lot of personal reflection in it as well, but that's definitely, I feel like that's my number one episode. Like if someone were to ask me about this podcast and be like, oh, what episode should I listen to, I'd be like, that one, that's the one.
I'm gonna say 3. 2 of them are mine, so it showed that I'm like a narcissist, but I'm for how much I don't really complete a lot of sentences and sometimes I say the wrong word instead of the word that I mean, I am proud of the Twilight episode and the 6 Wives of Henry VIII. Yeah, I feel like those were 2 that I'm pretty proud of. But I look back and re-listen to the Stan one a lot.
Interesting. Just because that was like one of our first ones.
That was our second one. And it was crazy being like, do you know anything about Kit Connor? And you're like, who is that? And I love that I can look back now and have completely converted you to the
I'm a Stan.
What? Oh. And especially now, like with the Nicki Minaj and her Barbs being like front page news again because of the stupid feud with Megan Thee Stallion, that like your first episode talking about like how far the Barbs will go. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. And I love the back and forth that to be fair, and what my closing statement now is going to be, our early instances of back and forth were way more like traditional podcasts, and the more that we had to like fit 2 in 1, and the more we had to like let each other lead instead of coming up with one singular topic and then bouncing back and forth ping pong ball style, is that it felt less and less like a podcast format and kind of more like a true crime podcast format. Also, the true crime episode's pretty good. I definitely came off a little bit more angry than I wanted to. I wanted to come off more objective in like Vice News, and instead I came off like, I fucking hate you if you're a true crime podcaster. But the way the true crime podcasts are framed, it's more like one woman being like, and then in 1983, and the other like usually a guy going, wow, really? That's crazy. I'm like, I feel like that's kind of, once we started taking our own individual episodes and leading the reins, it kind of turned into more of that. And I'm like, so I wasn't surprised or anything. I wasn't like, no, when we were like discussing the idea of potentially like making this our final season of episodes, I wasn't like, where is this coming from? Like, this is definitely like commitment. And for as much as I like to dog on my own voice, or that sometimes I'll do this thing where if I'm convinced that you are no longer paying attention, or that no one who is listening will be paying attention, I will start talking really, really fucking fast, try to get through the stuff that I have to like apologize for like taking up people's times, that it becomes almost undiscernible what I am trying to say because I am talking too fucking fast to like speed up. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, this is boring. What am I even saying? So as much as I don't complete my sentences, or that I have a lisp, or that I have a lot of spit in my mouth, or that both of us, we will both go, hey, like we will both like clear our spit in the microphones. For as much as that, and as much as I'm sure that my opinions will have changed, give it like a year time, maybe 2 years time, I am incredibly proud that we essentially just made like 50 essays of our own accord. This was not homework.
No, honestly, fucking go us. Sorry.
Could you? You would. Everyone does, but we did. For everyone that says they and their friend could make a podcast, they get maybe 3 episodes in, realize it's hard fucking work, that they don't like doing it, and then it fizzles out into another failed project that was just like launched into the ether. They do all this work on making a schedule and then maybe making cover art, and then they just release their fucking podcast off into the realm at like 4 or like less than 12, and we did 50. Like, we were consistent enough. A lot of that, again, I'll lead up to you for actually having follow through for shit instead of me and my fantastical ideas and my maybe one day attitude. You did the damn thing. You got the damn mics. My mic that's doing like a Dr. Seuss like the Lorax like truffula tree moment that's like peering off my microphone, whatever. But yeah, we did it. We fucking did it, and we made 50 episodes of it, and that's like this one alone is 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Like we made over 50 hours of content, which is like dog.
Yeah.
And like honestly, for as much as this is weird and how it is going to be like weird, like, oh, I don't want to sign off yet, any other things like to say into the ether, like again, it is crazy that like we do have listeners that aren't our friends, and if you're not our friend in real life, you just have these voices, and I'm sorry. I don't know, maybe we'll myself will do.
You also have the YouTube.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm going to try to push myself to make more videos like this in the future. I'm spreading that under the ether. I want to make Professor Skyler a thing.
Yes.
But I guess until then, if you are our friends and you do know us in real life, like this is not going to be the end of me talking to you about a special interest, and you will be forced to listen. That's the thing too. Reading it back to the last question, the fact that I have friends who want to listen to that shit. I am still completely in awe and in disbelief that there are people that are willing to listen to me talk for like over 10 minutes at a time. Even my birthday, which we celebrated last week, where we all dressed up as American Girl dolls, and I had this like 50-page PowerPoint about American Girl doll lore. I was like in the middle of it, I'm like, no one cares. I'm standing up in like a ye old English dress, presenting to my friends, and I'm like, they don't care. I'm on slide 39, and I'm like, oh my god, you're like forcing your friends to like listen to you talk, you narcissist. Like, they don't care. And then having friends that are like, no, we care. I was invested. I was listening. You can talk about your random bullshit, and we will not think that you're weird, and we will not be secretly writing a manifesto about why we do not actually like you. As far as I know.
No, you're safe.
That's what the separate group chat is for.
Oh god.
That was me on a roll. But yeah, are there any like last minute favorites that then even the American Girl doll one, I was listening to that getting ready, and I was like, I didn't finish a lot of my thoughts about American Girl doll. I was speeding it up.
No, I have our Spotify pulled up because I was like, what are the episodes I'm most proud of? And definitely which one is it? Let Me Be Grotesque in Peace is number one.
If our audio was better, the conspiracy theory would be another one of my favorite ones. But our audio in that episode was kind of ass. But I'm proud of what I said. I stand by it.
I feel like some of these, I'm like, what the fuck is this about? I do not remember this
Wait,
one.
which one?
Just many. What is this? Why must I pluck my toe hairs? Body hair? Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
You did that one?
Yeah, that was me.
The Bible is gay fan fiction.
Dude, the history of fan fiction was such a cool fucking...
That was a good one.
That was a good
really
team
good
up.
One.
Definitely more soul bearing than I thought. I remember like listening to the first like couple episodes of me being like, I didn't want to divulge too much of my personal life on the podcast, and now I'm like, girl, you are liable for a sit-down intervention if any one of your family members listens to this, okay? Like, you are not safe. This is not smart. You don't pretend like you're not going to unveil your soul with names, with full names.
Ooh, okay. Kissing the Homies. I feel like that was also a good one. That was also a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm to wrap this all up, I'm very proud of what we've done. I think it's in all, even if all of our episodes were fucking shit, which I don't think they were, I think a lot of them were actually very, very quality.
Very, very quality.
Very, very quality. And you know what? I'm sticking by it. But the thing is, even if all of the episodes were shit, like, we fucking did it. We did a plan. We committed every week. We followed through. Like, I think that alone is something to be very proud of, and I'm very proud of us, and I'm very I don't know, I think it's fucking cool that we did this, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm definitely sad to see it go, but like I was saying before, I'm also a little excited just to I'm proud that we did this, but at the same time, like, I know that I just don't have the time to commit to it, you know, like effectively, and so I'm excited to have that time to do like my paint by numbers or like, you know, like just kind of like fun, like silly things. But I do think it's really cool that we did this, and I think we have some really cool episodes and some cool things that we've done. And that people are
like upset that we're ending it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, usually if your friend has a podcast, you're like, oh, I'll check it out. Oh, you have a podcast? Yeah, I'll check it out. There are some like like, I think even, like, one of our friends made a joke. They're like, oh, I always support my friends in creative endeavors. Like, you always say you're going to, but the fact that not only do our friends listen to us voluntarily, they listen to our voices for hours at a time, which, Nobel Prize, but also the fact that they're like, what do you mean there's no more? Why not? And they're, like, upset and angry that we're not making any more, that, like, they really, really care about the podcast that we're making. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what else I'm not going to miss? Having paper thin walls. I'm sure that our neighbors will also be very relieved this podcast is ending, because they won't be able to listen to our big maws talk in a podcast approved volume, and you can hear every single yell and scrape and lawnmower and plane noise and key opening in the door fob. My neighbors right now that are like having trouble getting through their fucking front door can hear me clear as day. And I can hear them clear as day. You might be able to hear them too if you just believe.
Probably a little bit if you believe well enough. Well, we have officially hit the 2:30 mark.
Oh shit, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
We gotta go. We have to get ready for our Vanderpump crawl. But this has been such a lovely time. We hope that this was a good send off for you all. We hope you maybe learned a little bit more about us. And that this was entertaining and it wasn't just us gabbing the entire time, because we weren't really talking about anything in particular, but I still hope that this was kind of a fun, like, little, like, bonus episode to end things off. And I'm very proud and excited, and thank you all so much for listening.
Oh, we are available on Spotify.
We are available. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. And we hope that you enjoy. If this is the first episode you're listening to, we have 49 other episodes that you can look back on and listen to. And we really genuinely hope that you enjoyed. We put a lot of work and effort and time into this, so
you get to listen to me when I'm 23.
Yeah. Oh my god. crazy. All right. Bye.